Hi guys. So I am doing a video as opposed to doing a live because I want to concentrate on what I'm trying to say versus comments and stuff that will happen due to what I'm going to share. So this may be a little bit longer than what I normally do, and it may take me a little bit to get out. So I wanted to come on and share with everybody before there's no not sharing it, and it's no longer in my control of sharing it, because some things are going to happen that are there's no way not to share it, if that makes sense. So I have been struggling the last, I would say, month or so. You probably have noticed I've been a little bit more less on Facebook, posting wise anyways, and not doing a lot of live videos, and there's been a lot going on. As a lot of you know, I had my beautiful baby boy Jackson on September 17th, and then some things conspired after that. He had heart surgery and he's doing wonderful and he's very healthy. He just got checked this last week and he's doing phenomenal. So thank you so much for everybody that reached out and offered prayers and warm wishes and everything. Like, I can't express how much that was meant to me and my family and how much it helped us through that time. However, also during that time, and shortly thereafter, we found out some other information, and that's what I'm going to share with you. About 3 days after Jackson was born, after we got home and settled and everything, I was in the shower and I found a lump in my breast. And then my husband thought I was crazy. He's like, your milk's coming in, it's clogged milk duct, wait till you go to the doctor, like, it'll be fine. Okay, sometimes I can be a little irrational, but you know, we're that way sometimes. So I went to the doctor, and I didn't actually see my doctor when I took Jackson in for his 1-week checkup. I saw the nurse practitioner, and again, she said it's probably clogged milk duct, and let's give it some time, you know, do the things you do for a clogged milk duct, and if it doesn't go away, let us know. Okay, so that's what I did. And then I went back in to get Jackson seen again at his 2-week checkup. Same thing, because they like to check their weights after they're born and everything. And when you're a breastfeeding mom or a formula feeding mom, it doesn't really matter. They just want to make sure that they're gaining weight appropriately, so that if they're not, you can supplement in other ways to make sure that they are. So took him in again for his 2-week checkup, and he's doing great at that time, and gaining weight like he should, all of that. But I still had the lump in my breast that we thought was a clogged milk duct. So again, nurse practitioner said it's probably a clogged milk duct. Give it another week or so. If it doesn't go away, then we will take other measures. And I was like, okay. So then in that time, Jackson ended up in the hospital, and he had to have heart surgery, which he had to have the cortation of the aorta. And I know I've explained this before, but what it was, when his heart developed, there was a narrowing in his aortic valve. And when you're between 5 and 14 days old, there's a valve that runs from your pulmonary artery to your aorta artery, and it closes. It's called a PDA. So what happened to Jackson happens to 1 in 25,000. I think I might have my numbers wrong, so don't quote me, but it happens to babies all the time. Like, it's not super common, but it's common. So his PDA started to close like it's supposed to, and because of the narrowing in his aorta valve, it cut off circulation to his lower extremities, his kidney, his liver, and his lower extremities. So that's why we took him in when we did, because he was breathing funny and he wasn't wanting to eat and stuff like that. So we then found out he had a heart problem and they were going to have to do surgery. And they did that, and now he's fine. We've been home. We've been home for almost a month now, and he's doing amazing. He's gained so much weight. He's a little chunker now, and he's doing great. However, while he was in the hospital at Children's, again, after you're intubated and you're a baby, they have concerns with babies not being able to latch and going back to the breast. after they haven't had the breast, which he was intubated for 5 days while we were there during the time of when he was admitted in surgery and all of that. So there was concern that he may not go back to the breast right away and we may have to bottle feed. So I was lucky. He didn't do that. He went straight back to the breast, but I then still had the lump that I'd found. So I addressed it with the lactation specialist at Children's, and they said, it's probably a clogged milk duct, warm compresses, massage while you're breastfeeding, all of these things, which again, I was already doing. So, when they, told me that, they said to follow up with my primary care. So fast forward, Jackson gets to come home. It's time for his checkup with the primary care after he gets to come home and everything's going well. And I then addressed my lump with my primary care doctor, and she asked, how long have you had this? And I was like, it's been about 3 to 4 weeks now. And she's like, it is probably a clogged milk duct or a cluster of clogged milk ducts, but let's be safe, better safe than sorry. Let's get you scheduled for an ultrasound and possibly a mammogram. So I'm like, okay. So we do that. I actually go the next day for an ultrasound, and they did a mammogram that day. And while I was there, the doctor that was doing the mammogram and the ultrasound came in and said, this looks a little suspicious. I'd like to do a biopsy. So we scheduled a biopsy, do the biopsy, and then send that off to get the results. Oh, sorry. This time change today is messing me up. So today is November 3rd, time change, and it's messing me up today. But anyways, back to my story. So I get a phone call from my doctor in less than 24 hours after the biopsy, ultrasound, mammogram, and then biopsy a week later. So I get a call from my doctor, and she tells me, unfortunately, I need you to come in because we need to talk, because we don't have all the results back yet, but the results that we do have, you do have suspicious cancerous cells in the mass that we biopsied and that you found in your breast. And I was like, okay. So trying not to panic, like not panic mode yet. So we go in and talk to my doctor. Same day, she's already scheduled me an appointment with a surgeon, an oncologist. Like we're trying to get everything figured out to figure out like what we need to do. And then 2 weeks ago, I met with the surgeon and we went over everything and found out the results. I have stage 2 breast cancer. And that's like hard to, I guess, fathom or understand or believe that it's even real. Oh, look, my dog's coming in, Bella. But I have stage 2 breast cancer. So we go through the whole thing, and God love doctors. They like to explain everything to you. But, I was to the point where I've already waited, a week and a half to get these results. And oh my goodness, because I'm talking. Why I keep yawning. I just wanted to know what the plan was, like what we needed to do. I have lived my life in kind of crisis mode for like the last, I would say 2 to 3 years. So like, I'm one of those that like, give me worst case scenario. We'll plan for the best and we'll work for the best, but I'm planning for worst case scenario because you never know what's going to happen. So I'm sitting there listening to all of these things, and she tells me it's a process that she's got, like, this pitch basically that she gives you when you have breast cancer. And I'm getting more and more irritated, unfortunately, because I want to know, like, worst case scenario, what I'm looking at here. I have 4 children that rely on me, and I just had a baby, and like, I have breast cancer. Like, why is this happening? And I needed to plan. Like, that's what I do. I plan for, you have to plan. You have children, you have to plan. So, she told us, like, at best, I was looking at like 12 weeks of chemo, and they would do a lumpectomy, but the rate that my cancer was growing, I needed to start with chemo and like all of this stuff. And like, I think I stopped listening at a certain point too, because it's a lot to take in to just, I don't know, accept that you have cancer. Like, it's one of those things that's not going to happen to me. I mean, it's very highly possible. I have people in my family that have cancer. My uncle had cancer when he was a teenager. He had leukemia. My grandfather died in 2005 on my dad's side. I'm sure there's some on my mom's side. I don't talk to my mom, so I don't know. But my grandfather died from stomach cancer. But it's out there. It's a real thing. So it was just like not one of those things I was expecting, I guess, Like, who expects to hear those words that you have cancer? So, we go through that appointment, and I had already scheduled or got an appointment with the oncologist to find out like what next steps were. This was last week, not this last week, but the week before, on Thursday. So I met with the oncologist, and my mass had already grown in a week, so that's a little bit scary. And they're trying to figure out like whether it's metastasized, whether it's still just in my breast, or whether it's in my whole body. And we were waiting on some other test results because that determines like what chemo you have and for how long, and there's all these variables. So I had originally done one of these videos and I was going to post it, and then I realized I should probably like do a new one because I've gotten more information since then. Because I had a friend of mine tell me that like you should do a video journal about like how you're coping with this, with everything that you've been through. And she's like, and maybe if it doesn't help you, it'll help someone if you ever decide to share it. And I've been contemplating, I'm not going to lie. I've known this now for almost a month, and I've very much contemplated and been torn whether to put this out there. However, I do know that for whatever reason, and I'm very blessed, but for whatever reason, I inspire a lot of people. And I have a lot of people that look up to me. And if I can help someone find a way to look for a better tomorrow, or to find their cancer before it gets bad enough to where you can't be helped, then that's my goal. So I decided to share. And after meeting with oncology last week, I am gonna have chemo for probably minimum of a year to a year and a half because of how aggressive my cancer is. I will be starting on this next Wednesday, like coming up in 3 days. I had surgery, and the reason why I haven't been going live or posting a lot of pictures because I had to have surgery on Monday, and they put a port in for my chemo. So I have this lovely little buddy now that will be part of me for a year or more. He's not a buddy though, believe me, as soon as I can get it out, it's coming out. But I have this lovely little port, and I find like this whole scenario kind of ironic because I went to the infusion center and I said that I had a newfound respect for cancer patients in one of my posts that I posted, because they have to get poked a lot, and they have to go through so much, and they have to sit there and all of these things. And I was doing that, but not to that extent when I went to go get fluids when I was pregnant with Jackson because of my hyperemesis. And now I get to do it again, and I am blessed because I say I am blessed because I was able to build a relationship with the infusion center ladies that I'm actually going to have my chemo at, and my children know them very well. So I am blessed because my daughters and my sons are not going to be scared to go and get chemo with mom, and they can be part of it, and it's not going to scare them or be traumatizing. Like Madison calls the nurses doctors. She has fun with them when they're there. They give her crayons and apple juice, and we are just very, very blessed to have these women and men in our lives that are going to help us through this. So that's going to start on Wednesday, and my chemo is going to be very aggressive. This lovely, beautiful hair that I have, it's going to go bye-bye eventually. It'll fall out. I'll probably, my eyelashes or my eyebrows that I complain about that I don't have, I'm really not going to have any. Those will fall out. Like, there's all of these things that you learn, and you're just like, wow, you have a newfound respect for people that have to go through it if you haven't been in their shoes. And what I'm also learning is everybody's battle's different. I don't know what this holds for me. I know that I have tons and tons of people that are on my side, and I have an amazing husband, and my children have been amazing, and my son, Nicholas, God love him. I don't know if you guys have seen Nicholas lately, but he had really long hair because my son made me shave his head tonight. He's bald, completely bald. The kid had hair, so his head was shaved like all the way around, and he just had hair up here on the top. His hair was probably like, oh, I'd say down to here, almost as long as mine on the top, and he had me shave his head today. I tried to talk him out of it. I'm like, dude, you really do not need to shave your head. And he was like, no, I'm doing this. He's like, you're gonna lose your hair. I'm shaving my head. And I'm like, okay. So, I mean, my family supports me, and my husband has been very, very kind and patient. He always is, but like, this is a lot. Like, we've had a lot happen, and it continues to just keep happening. And it's very hard sometimes to find a way to stay positive in the thick of it. And I am trying really hard. I've had my moments, don't get me wrong. I've broken down, I've cried, I've screamed, I've yelled, I've thrown things, because part of me doesn't understand. And the other part of me knows that this has been given to me for a reason. I may not know what it is. It may be a lesson for me or a lesson for somebody else. And I am going to be strong in my faith with the Lord that we will get through this and it'll be okay. And everything's going to be fine. However, it's going to be hard. Like, I'm not going to lie. I am 100% scared out of my freaking mind because I don't know what to expect. Like, I've seen people have cancer, but I've never had cancer, and I'm sure it's completely different. I have taken care of lots of people that have cancer with the industry that I worked in, and then family members. Like, I understand it. I know what's to be expected, but you can't, I don't feel like you can set yourself up for what's to be expected when it's happening to you. It's like a new thing happens every day. And one of my biggest struggles is going to be I'm going to have to ask for help. I like to do things myself, and I like to figure it out myself before I ever ask for help. And I have had to ask for help when they put my port in. As stupid as this sounds, I couldn't lift over 10 pounds. I'm not supposed to lift over 10 pounds for the next 14 days, and we're only on today's day 7, and I've had to ask, I know this is stupid to complain about, but I've had to ask my son or my husband, can you take out the trash? Like, we all take turns taking out the trash, and I couldn't take out the trash, and I couldn't bend over and maneuver my arm in certain ways because they told me I couldn't. So I've had to ask them to, like, unload simple little things that you don't even think about doing, like unloading and loading the dishwasher, picking certain things up, like, you don't even think about. Like, Madison, she's 4. Does she crawl into the car seat herself and whatever? But yeah, but a lot of time, because we're going places, and like, you think you have to be in a hurry all the time, I pick her up and put her in the car seat, and she doesn't understand. Like, she's 4. She doesn't understand why mommy can't pick her up. Like, you can crawl up on my lap, but I can't pick you up right now. That is very hard to explain. And those are just like the beginning of the challenges. I have no idea what's yet to come, but I do know I have an amazing support system. I have lots of friends that check on me every day, and I'm very grateful for it. And I just wanted to let everybody know what was going on with me before, like, it all starts to unfold, because there's gonna be no hiding this. Like, really, there isn't. Not that I should try and hide it, but like, there's no facade. Like, put it out there. We all put stuff on Facebook, and you get to see the good. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm probably going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there ain't no stopping it. And I'm just going to be real me, what I have been from day one. So, a lot of people have asked me, what does that mean for my business? I'm not going to stop my business. My business is going to continue. I'm going to continue to do what I do for a living. I'm a Thrive Lavelle brand promoter, and that's what I'm going to do. So, like, that's not going to stop. I'm very blessed, though, to have that as a business, because I have had so many doctor's appointments in the last 2 weeks. Like, I lost count. And my son, Jackson, has had lots of doctor's appointments, and like, mixing and matching and mingling it all, and still being able to like work and do that. And I'm able to do that. So I'm very blessed that it was brought into my life when it was, because it's something I can continue to do and look forward to do every day. And I can still provide for my family, even though I'm going through something really, really shitty and scary. And I say shitty because I don't think there's anybody out there that likes cancer. Like, let's just be real. And some of the women that have supported me a lot, they say fuck cancer, and I'm gonna say fuck cancer. I'm gonna beat this. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get through this, and we're gonna be stronger for it. So I just wanted to let everybody know what was kind of going on. and I may have already said this or not. I've been talking for 20 minutes, and I apologize if you decide to watch the whole thing. And I'm sure it's going to get stolen by somebody and put on YouTube. So hi everybody on YouTube. I'll just throw that out there right now. But that's what's going on. And I thought I needed to share it because I hope that it inspires somebody to check your breasts. Don't just think it's nothing is, or something is nothing, because you never know. Had I just went with the fact that it was a clogged milk duct and that I wasn't persistent and I wasn't advocating for me and my concern of it, who knows what would have happened? Who knows how bad it could have gotten? I mean, it's not in a good stage now, but it's very rapidly growing, so who knows? All I can say is check your breasts. If you're suspicious of something, go get it checked out. It's better to be safe than sorry. So that is my 2 cents for you today. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We've been trying to get things in order before madness happens. So I appreciate each and every one of you and everybody that's in my life. And I can't thank all of you enough that have reached out or know or have supported me through it or will continue to support me through it. I'm very, very blessed, and I'm very, very grateful for everything that I have in my life and everyone that I have in my life. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening, and good luck, because it was time change today, and that is brutal on me every time. They just need to get rid of that altogether, just saying. So I love you all, and I will talk to you soon.